Hey, I want to try my hand at vlogging again. I haven't done this in years, but I've always been under the impression that my life is too boring to vlog. But I don't know, man. I've been watching some stuff about vloggers, and it seems like the boring stuff is actually maybe worth recording. So I'm gonna try this. I'm not gonna do daily vlogs or anything like that. I don't have the time for that. But I want to do this. So prepare for some vlogs, maybe, perhaps. We'll see. This is going to be like a very mundane, like day in the life kind of a vlog. So we're going to see how this one turns out. And if it doesn't turn out very interestingly, or nobody really cares, then maybe this will be it. This will be the experiment over. But yeah. Also, one other thing, don't expect to see my face too much. Just because when I record my face, I tend to just not do anything with it. I tend to watch it back and go, oh, my face. You know, it's bad enough having to listen to my voice all the time. But hey, that's, whatevs. So yeah, day in my life. Welcome to my desk. If we're going to be truly doing some mundane stuff, then this is where we're going to be spending a lot of time. My day has begun with a Docky Pepper because I deserve a Docky Pepper. Also, you'll see some Lego cars. It's a bit of a mess. There's some amiibo. There's an old hard drive. And then there's, yeah. But today, what I'm doing is I had to make a tough decision because I have very limited internal disk drive space, and I was trying to play Starfield, a game which I really like, by the way. I want to make a video about that. I was trying to play Starfield off of an external SSD, which is hanging out up there. There you go, you can kind of see it. But it hitches. It doesn't hitch as badly as other games do, more modern games. But so to make room for Starfield, I had to uninstall Assassin's Creed Shadows, which I just bought, another, I guess, critically, or maybe not critically maligned, but public opinion maligned game. And I was really enjoying this, and it really hurt to uninstall a game, but I'm actively playing and enjoying. But I need my Starfield fix, man. And yeah, so I'm currently moving the files over to my internal SSD, and then the thing is, I'm trying to remember, like, this isn't like a permanent decision, right? I can reinstall it on the weekend or whatever. Sorry for the weird cut off there. My phone ran out of space. But I've made some space. Nothing is going right in this instant. I guess while I'm waiting for Starfield to move sorry, that's kind of a rude gesture. I'll continue reading this. I'm really enjoying this at the minute. That's right. I was reading about the Film Freak, one of the least interesting villains in Batman history. I did just say I was enjoying this a lot, didn't I? Okay, so I'm not exactly hooked by this storyline, but this is a very cool single issue cover, I must say. Well, this is weirdly passive-aggressive. Damn it, one day this is going to be the correct opening guess. Also, I don't usually do Wordle, but I have a friend who is doing it at the minute, so I kind of like to, hop on board that wagon. Maven? That's a name, not a word. What does that even mean? I'm more of a guess the game guy myself, although I did not do very well today. Yippee! Oh, hey, side note. Last month for my birthday, I got this 8-bit Do Ultimate wireless controller. It's really nice. I've never had a controller with back buttons on before, although, to be honest, I don't really have much reason to use them. But it's nice that they're there, I suppose. And then there's also, like, these extra buttons here, L4 and R4. I appreciate those as well. But also just, it feels really nice, and you can't really see it on camera, but I mean, you can see it on the right analog stick when you move it around, and it changes how it looks for light. And when you press this, when you press the trigger down, it kind of shows how strong you're pressing it down, and you can also change the color of the actual lights, or turn it off if it's too distracting. It's just nice. It's a nice controller. I would recommend. Gone are the days when third-party controllers were the cheap shit. I mean, I'm sure the cheap shit is still out there, but yeah, this is pretty nice. It is like 3 minutes before I have to get up and get ready to leave for work, so I'm doing what I always do on my last working day of a week, and that's going bah. just sitting here and grieving, mourning for my aching legs. Oh, my aching tentacles. I never learned to drive because I am a foolish fool, and so I walk about 45 minutes to work both ways, unless I get a lift home sometimes. And according to my phone, I do about 100,000 steps a week, because walking a lot is also part of my job. So it's all fun times. When I'm complaining about aching legs, that would be why. Also, that's not helping. That's not helping at all. Yeah, so the problem with trying to film the sun is that it's so bright I can't tell if I'm actually pointing at the sun or not. There's one upside, it's that I get to listen to some good music on the way, though. A kitty! Hello. Hello. I think we made friends like a month ago. Hehehe. The best part about life is that sometimes there is a cat. Sometimes there are even two cats. This is a definite friend who I've made long ago. Haven't seen in a while. I call him Bright Eyes. Hey, Bright Eyes. Doesn't exactly want to get in frame. Silly cat. If I run into any more cats, I'm going to be late for work. And yeah, you're right. It would be a good reason to be late for work. I got a friend to choose my flavor of Monster to have on my break. It's not one of my favorites. I don't know why I did that. Yeah. And just like that, the weekend beckons, because I don't work Fridays. Hallelujah. I've got a chalky milkshake, I'm gonna drink it up. I know that I keep buying drinks, but I don't give a f. Do you ever get the feeling that you are being watched? I will proceed with caution. Ooh, it's the moon. Hello, moon. How are you tonight? Pretty moon. So, one of my hobbies is to watch science communicators talk about science. Because I don't know the science, but they do, and they sure know how to put it in terms that I can understand. And one of the topics I've been watching lately is, do we live in a simulation? And it's the kind of thing I scoff at, but it turns out a lot of physicists are going, dude, maybe. I don't know, it kind of looks like maybe. And that's kind of wild. Like, people like to do funny likelihoods with infinity, right? And like giant numbers, and if time goes on forever, and all this stuff. But the general thinking is, we can foresee ourselves becoming a civilization that has the computing power to simulate an entire universe and intelligent beings. And if we can foresee a world in which we can do that, then what are the chances that it's already happened? In fact, what are the chances that we are the original reality and the original versions of ourselves? And it turns out it's actually pretty low. Me personally, I can foresee this being like a consequence of just where we are in our history right now. Like, you know, oh, there's a fox over there. You can kind of see him. Hang on. Foxy! Foxy! Wow, whoever's running this simulation thought it'd be great to send a fox running past. Anyway, yeah, I think it's just where we are in our history right now, but like where we are in our development of, you know, like video game worlds and also artificial intelligence and stuff. We're like, wait, what if reality is what we're making? And maybe that's a little egotistical, I don't know. But it's fun to think about. It's also a little terrifying to think about. I have accidentally given myself a bit of an existential crisis by watching too many of these videos back to back, but I'm not about to become someone who's raving about the fact that we're living in a simulation. I just think it's fun to listen to the cleverest people and, you know, their theories and what they're thinking about, because reality, turns out, is where we live. And it's crazy that we still don't really know what it is. One thing I will say is that some of the speculation for, you know, the basis of, oh, I think, you know, we could be living in a reality, you know, this looks really similar to the way this is handled in how we compute things. I think we run the risk of the same problem that we had with, you know, looking at how the electron spun around the neutron and being like, oh, it must be like how a planet spins around the sun. And it turns out that actually no. And from what I understand, and from what I've been listening to, that we had to come up with quantum theory to explain, which is a completely different beast. It's more about probability than it is about absolute measurements. Right, excuse me if I butchered any language in that, but yeah, there's that. I think that saying something like, oh, the speed of light might just be the hardware limitation of the rendering software in the simulation we all live in, might just be a little bit too convenient. A little bit like how the electron gravitating around the neutron was too convenient. And the other thing I wanted to say is just when it comes to conversation about, like, oh god, you know, the nature of reality and the fourth dimension of time, and is time already written and we're just perceiving it ticking by, and if so, is there any free will, or are we predestined to arrive at the conclusions of our lives? I think the main thing to take away is that the reason that stuff makes us anxious is that it kind of implies that we have a lack of agency in our lives, or it like implies certain things about the meanings of our lives and stuff. And I think the important thing to remember is just what's really different to before you knew this stuff in your day-to-day life. Like, is it really important? I don't think so. The way I see it, yeah, if time is already, you know, if it's a static thing, then if you had the perspective to look at all of reality as a whole, then sure, your fate would be preordained. You would be predestined to do everything that has yet to occur in the future, except from that perspective, there would be no future, because you are looking at it from outside time. From your perspective, you can still choose to have jam on toast tomorrow morning if you want, or you can choose to have a banana instead. Nothing is stopping you. It's just the knowledge of whether you did or not in the future, which you will never be able to know, so stop worrying about it. You know what I mean? One last thing about free will, I promise, and then we'll get back to mundane stuff. So, I'm aware it goes a little bit deeper than that, right? It's, okay, you say I can choose whether I want jam on toast or a banana in the morning, but the question of whether we have free will is, how do I choose what I end up wanting? Like, I'm going to make a choice. Do I want jam on toast? Do I want a banana? But that choice is going to be based on my desire. And where does that desire come from? That's like the crux of it. Like, I can't control the desire I'm going to have to choose between jam on toast and a banana. I could choose to go against that desire, but that would be weird. Like, why would I do that? Like, I could, but that in itself comes from a desire to overcome this. You know, it just goes further and further down. And to that, I would say, our desires come from a very deep place within us. I deeply want a banana for breakfast. And if you're worried about that, you know, you can examine where those desires really come from, and you can change your life to put yourself in situations where you maybe like reshape your brain, rewire your brain. Maybe this is something I learned in cognitive behavioral therapy, but you know, like, you, whether it's an illusion of free will or not, you still get to shape who you want to be. And honestly, like, maybe animals don't have free will, right? Like, maybe our intelligence is what allows us to reflect on ourselves, discover where our choices come from, and make changes to our lives to change that. I don't know, man. This wasn't meant to be this deep. This was just meant to be a dumb vlog about my day. Home sweet home. Hello, Rusty. Looked after the place while I was gone. Good giraffe. Working late's fun because you get home at like 1 a.m. and your brain's all, what should I do? Turn this on and play some more video games? Settle down in bed and play some portable video games? Continue reading some physical comics? Continue reading some digital comics? Continue reading this book I've been reading for 2 years? Continue reading this book series I've been reading for 2 years? Let the intrusive voices win and start an entirely new, overly long book? Continue watching one of the many shows I immediately dropped? Or something from my YouTube subscriptions? I scream, for I do not know. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this vlog. Let me know what you thought about it, especially if you want more of it, because I had fun making this. I would like to make more. My only concern is that it would be more of the same, because like I said, I do not live a crazy, interesting life. It's going to be more, I played this video game, I read this book, I'm off to work, here's a cat I saw on the way to work, that kind of thing. But yeah, I enjoyed making this, so maybe I'll make more in the future, I don't know. Either way, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in whatever I make next.